It was a cool morning, and Daniel was on his way to work, sipping his coffee as he walked down his usual path through the park. The early sun cast golden streaks across the trees, and birds chirped overhead. Everything seemed just right, until he saw it. Right in the middle of the walkway sat a massive rock. Daniel frowned. That rock hadn't been there yesterday. It was large, rough, and completely blocking his path. He sighed. He was already running late, and now this. As he stood there, debating whether to go around it or turn back, he noticed something interesting. Other people walking the same route were reacting differently to the obstacle. One man, in a suit and holding a briefcase, simply huffed in frustration and turned around, choosing another path. A young woman on a bicycle stopped, took one look at the rock, groaned, and wheeled her bike onto the grass to go around it. An elderly man with a walking cane paused, stared at the rock for a long moment, then nodded and slowly changed his route. Daniel watched all of this with curiosity. Was no one going to try moving the rock? He walked closer and placed a hand on its rough surface. It was big, yes, but maybe not impossible to shift. He hesitated. He had places to be, things to do. Maybe it was easier to just go around it like everyone else. But something inside him pushed back. Just try, a small voice in his head whispered. Taking a deep breath, Daniel crouched and pressed his hands against the stone. He pushed. Nothing. He adjusted his stance, planted his feet firmly, and pushed harder. The rock shifted, just a little. Encouraged, he pushed again, using all his strength. Slowly, inch by inch, the rock moved. Sweat trickled down his forehead, but he kept going. And then, finally, the rock rolled aside, clearing the path. Daniel stood there, breathing heavily, but a triumphant smile spread across his face. That wasn't so bad. As he wiped his hands on his pants, something caught his eye. Where the rock had been, a small, dusty pouch lay hidden. Curious, he picked it up and pulled it open. His eyes widened in surprise. Inside was a handful of gold coins and a note. The note read, "Obstacles are placed in our path not to stop us, but to test whether we have the determination to overcome them." Well done. Daniel stared at the note, a grin forming on his face. As he tucked the pouch into his pocket and continued on his way, he realized something. Most people avoid obstacles. They complain, turn back, or find an easier way around. But sometimes, the very thing blocking our path holds an opportunity, a lesson, a reward, or simply the chance to prove what we're capable of. That morning, Daniel went to work not just on time, but with a new mindset. From that day on, whenever he faced a challenge, at work, in life, anywhere, he would remember the rock on his path. And instead of turning away, he would push. Because sometimes, the greatest rewards come from the obstacles we choose to overcome. Moral of the story. Challenges aren't meant to stop us, they are there to see if we're willing to overcome them. Keep pushing, because you never know what might be waiting on the other side.